So I started watching a show online recently called Secrets of Archaeology. I love history and I love that kind of stuff, be it ancient history, recent history. I've always loved history. So this show appealed to me. Each episode, they cover a particular area in the world, be it the pyramids of Gaza, the Acropolis in Athens, or the Great Parthenon and all those buildings, different towns in Italy, other towns in Egypt. But each episode, they cover the civilizations that lived in that area. They cover about how they came about, the type of things they did. They look at the buildings they lived in, and they quite often try to give you a picture of what the buildings may have looked like, what these towns looked like at that time. But one thing I noticed in all the episodes that they've covered so far, one of the things they cover in every episode is the fact that these great cities, these cultures at that time, had temples to their gods. And quite often they had numerous temples to numerous gods. And while the people lived in relative simplicity in small houses, these temples were huge. And they were quite magnificently made with great columns and paintings and statues and gold inside. So these temples were very central to these people's lives. They revolved around what happened in the temple. Well, I ask you, here's the thing. Where are the modern day worship houses to these gods, the gods of the Greeks and the gods of the Egyptians, be it Zeus or Apollo or Ra? Where are these people today? Where are these houses? Where are their followers, their worshipers today? Do we see them around the world? No, we don't. These people, these religions, these temples have all fallen into dust. They have been gone for millennium. These worshipers are no longer here. But here's the thing. There is a deity that was a contemporary of many of these so-called gods, these gods of the pagans. There is a deity who was worshipped at that time. In fact, he was worshipped way before they were. It says in Genesis 4, verse 26, that in the time of Enosh, the son of Seth, that the people first started worshiping the Lord, that being the God that created them. And he is the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, the God of King David, the God of the prophets that came after the kings. In fact, while these pagan gods were given their various histories from someone's fertile imagination, things that they were supposed to have done, it is God alone, the great I Am, who came into his own creation as a human and lived a life among us. In fact, this God, the only true God, was such an amazing God and such love for his people that while we had fallen into sin, while we were lost and in danger of all going to hell, he came as a human and he gave his own life as payment that was supposed to be ours. He saved his own children from their death in hell. And he alone is God and still being worshiped today. So I ask you, as you look back in history, whether you're a believer, whether you're an atheist, and quite frankly, I don't understand that because it says in Romans chapter 1, verse 20, from the time the world was created, people have seen the earth and sky and all that God made. They can clearly see his invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature. So they have no excuse whatsoever for not knowing God. So whether you're a believer or a so-called atheist, you have to admit this one fact. While there have been countless different religions all through time, be it the religions of the Greeks or the Egyptians, or even those that came before them or come after them, the Buddhists, the Hindus, the Islamists, all these other religions are false. And they have worshiped gods who were not gods, but just stone and wood, and have no voice. Christianity alone, the fulfillment of Judaism that has been worshiping the only true God since the dawn of time and will continue to worship him for an eternity. He alone is God, and he alone is worthy to be worshiped. Amen. Amen.